Mercedes. Everybody seems to be talking about the 0 hours at the moment. In my review yesterday, I talked a little bit about them and their woes at the Brazilian Grand Prix. I just wanted to go into that in a bit more detail quite briefly here. You see, Merck won quite convincingly at Brazil last time around. He won the sprint with George Russell, and then he converted that to a win at the Grand Prix. Of course, everyone remembers the stories for Lewis Hamilton in 2021. But what's happened here is quite different. Part of it is the other teams have simply gotten better. Verstappen didn't make mistakes, he had a good weekend. Aston Martin have jumped up the order. In some cases, McLaren performing quite well. And then part of it will be the W14. I mean, both drivers made no secret of the fact that they're going to be happy when the W15 comes into play for next season. But I would argue there's one thing that I haven't really seen many people mentioning in a front page sense about Merck's form. Which is, we have to remember, the W13 they were running last year was a zero slide pod car. And the W14 started off very much the same way. Now, that shouldn't mean much, but it does. And here's why. Because it could be that the aerodynamic balance that worked well for those zero slide pod cars, like the 13 in the early season 14, was actually something that could be carried over into success for this season. And because they're still trying to understand the 14, especially since the redesign of it in some situations, that makes the problem even worse. And yeah, it's strange that Russell had to retire with power unit issues. That's very rare for a Merc. But it is also strange just to see them drop so much off in form without there having been the real change year on year. Maybe they're a bit more buried the floor considering what happened at Kota. Maybe the sprint weekend threw them out of kilter as well. But either way, I think the one factor that's being overlooked is the fact that this is the car that's been adapted to try and meet the situation. And hopefully for Merck, even though they're going to have a new design team for next season, that's one thing they can take on board. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.